Okay, so what CNN just did to AOC at her little kumbaya session with Bernie was downright savage. I loved every second of it. Her Fantasyland socialism might get cheers from purple-haired revolutionaries in Portland or TikTok teenagers who think economics is a type of anxiety, but when she starts preaching that nonsense to a room full of working adults who actually pay bills, yeah, it doesn't land quite the same. She got shredded without anyone lifting a finger. Even the host just sat there sipping his coffee watching AOC dig her own political grave with a smile. Check it out, guys.
From Eric Johnson, who lives in Hernando, Mississippi. He's an air traffic controller and a father of 4 who is joining us via video tonight. This is his question.
What do you suggest government workers do for food money when the paychecks stop coming?
I mean, these are the real questions that we have to be entertaining. And as I mentioned earlier, the best and most important solution to this is making sure that we reopen the government, not accept the inevitability of this, and come to a resolution as quickly as possible. Now, that being said, we do have to make sure that we come together as communities and that we also systemically expand our programming, like the SNAP cuts that just happened, in addition to the $1 trillion in healthcare cuts as well for families that are under financial duress.
You mentioned what Speaker Johnson has said about how long this could go on. We've heard from Senator Schumer as well, who said the other day that as long as this shutdown continues, he said, quote, every day gets better for us. Do you think every day, though, gets better for someone like Eric?
No, I mean, it's, at the end of the day, this needs to be as short as possible. We do not want the government to be shut down.
So AOC gets hit with a real world problem, you know, the kind that can't be solved with hashtags and hope, caused by her own party's little temper tantrum shutdown. And what does she say? Oh yeah, we should really think about that. And then she proceeds to vomit out word salad that would make Kamala jealous. And then her big solution is to get on food stamps. Oh, that's just classic. Because nothing says progress like turning more Americans into government pets. That's the Democrat dream right there. Take away your independence, your dignity, and make sure every paycheck, every meal, every prescription runs through them first. That way, if you ever step out of line, they could just cut your leash. And then we got Bernie, the guy who's never worked a real job in his life, sitting there while the woman explains her life is falling apart thanks to their political games. And what does he do? He shrugs, because their hatred for Trump is stronger than the concern of actual people.
Senator Bobby Harms is joining us. She's a bartender from Horn Lake, Mississippi. She is a Democrat. She submitted her question via video.
A Democrat from Mississippi.
Indeed.
All right.
Hold up, had to pause that one for just a second. A Democrat from Mississippi? Oh, the horror. You could practically hear the smug gasp in his voice. The way he says it, you'd think someone spotted a unicorn at the tractor pull. The arrogance is unbelievable. Like you can't fathom that one of his oh-so-enlightened voters might actually live among us. Dirty, dumb rednecks. Why is that funny exactly? Democrats exist in red states, just like conservatives exist in blue ones. But no, this clown's too busy looking down his nose to realize America isn't supposed to be a clique. His stern contempt for idea of a united country tells you everything that you need to know. All right, anyway, so let's get back to this.
My American dream has turned into a nightmare. My family was only days away from closing on a USDA loan for our dream home. Then came news of the shutdown, and now we face uncertainty. Our lease is up, and now we have to move. The shutdown is costing us our chance to live our dream. What are you doing to end this stalemate and help restore faith in our elected officials, the people I helped to choose to guard my American dream?
We're going to do everything that we can to bring an end to this terrible shutdown, which is hurting you and which is hurting 1 million federal employees and millions of people who use federal services. But also, we have got to be cognizant that if Trump wins this fight, our healthcare system could well collapse and tens of thousands of people could die every single year.
Do you think Trump could win this fight?
No, we're going to win it. But it's not, I don't want to look at it like a political fight. We're going to win it because the American people are on our side.
You notice that little damage control attempt at the end there? Yeah, he realized that he accidentally admitted the whole thing. You know, the shutdown, this mess hurting everyday people, is 100% caused by Democrat pettiness. We're going to win against Trump. Oh, congratulations. You know, meanwhile, that lady that just lost her home because the agency handling her loan is shut down. But hey, you know, at least your pride is intact, right? This isn't some MAGA rally caller either. She's a Democrat voter. That's the part they never get. Regular working folks, families, homeowners. They're getting crushed while the left keeps worshiping the loudest, angriest radicals with blue hair and zero life experience. Then they sit around scratching their heads, wondering how Trump gains support. And AOC, after hearing two people tell her their lives are falling apart, she basically says, we'll drag this out as long as it takes. Because it's not about fixing anything, it's about leverage. They want their little laundry list of demands. And if you lose your job, your house, or your sanity along the way, well, that's just the cost of progress.
Over in the House, there are 14 House Republicans who have said that they will sign on and they will vote for a one-year extension of the subsidies. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries said he thought that proposal was laughable. Do you think that's laughable, or is that something you could get behind?
Yeah, no, let me tell you why it's laughable. Because it's cynical. Republicans want to sign on to just a one little extra year of these ACA subsidies. You want to know why? What's happening next year? Midterm elections. They want to extend these subsidies just a year extra so that people don't realize the dupe that they are pulling on everyone, so that they can all reelect themselves and allow those things to expire the moment that they win re-election. And it is time to get politics out of what should be a guaranteed universal right in the United States of America, and that is health care. And so I will not accept a measly one-year acceptance of a measly one-year extension of the ACA. We need to make sure, and as a member of the party, we put negotiations in the hands of our party's leadership with Hakeem Jeffries. He says it's no, it's no.
Oh, sure, that sounds like someone negotiating in good faith. We will not agree to anything short of universal health care for all. Yeah, that's not a discussion. That's a hostage demand. The Democrats are acting like this is about Obamacare subsidies. Republicans literally offered them a one-year extension, and they still stomp their feet like toddlers because it wasn't permanent. AOC straight up admits it. They want the whole socialist package, universal health care, endless spending, cradle-to-grave government control. They've turned compromise into do it our way, otherwise we'll burn the place down. And these same people have the nerve to say Republicans threaten democracy. No, this is what killing democracy looks like. Refusing to accept election results and trying to blackmail the country until you get your utopia. Does this make sense yet, people? But instead of facing that glaring reality, visible to anyone with two working eyes and half a neuron, they just keep gaslighting everyone and pretending that it's all Republicans' fault. And then right on cue, Bernie waddles up to the mic to prove the point by blaming the GOP and promptly embarrassing himself in front of everyone.
How do you think this shutdown reflects on Chuck Schumer's leadership?
Well, I think it reflects more on Mike Johnson's leadership and President Trump's leadership. This is a leadership which said it's okay to give well, how do you feel? You tell me. Think it's a good idea to give $1 trillion in tax breaks to the richest people in the country and then make massive cuts to healthcare for working class people?
I think Chuck Schumer has voted for continuing resolutions 13 times in the last 4 years, and he has the opportunity to vote for one again, but he's refusing to come to the table.
Well, I think, look, as I have said, there are 53 Republicans in the Senate, correct?
Yes.
They need 60. What does that mean? It means you have to talk to the other side. Mike Johnson is not talking. John Thune is not talking. President Trump is not talking. That is the problem.
Well, they say their position is reopen the government and then we'll talk.
All right, let's just pause it here for just a second. So, okay, I watched this entire train wreck, all hour and 30 minutes or so to whatever the hell it was. And it was the same thing over and over again. Real people standing up, asking AOC and Bernie for actual help, and getting back a mess of buzzwords and finger pointing. Roughly about 15% word salad and 85% Trump bad. Every person in that room looked like they were slowly realizing they were talking to malfunctioning robots. No answers, no plans, just emotional auto responses. Everything Trump did is bad, so therefore, we must oppose everything, even if it helps people. You know, that's a really good strategy, I guess. Democrats have mastered two modes of communication. The number one being baby talk. No, you're too stupid to understand. Number two, insults. You're racist, you're sexist, you're transphobic, blah, 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 blah. Now shut up. Blah. And then when voters finally start walking away, instead of asking why, AOC blames it on the right, turning men into Nazis. Yeah, sure, it's not your arrogance. You're being condescending, maybe? A total lack of ideas? No, it's those evil men refusing to clap for socialism.
When they talk about Republicans and their success online, they have been successful because they have also been very clear, especially digitally, about what they believe. That women are inferior, that they do not deserve equal rights, that they believe that LGBTQ Americans are subhuman, that they believe and are circulating disgusting racial and white supremacist messaging that they are able to get away with digitally and online. And they are able to radicalize and target and exploit a generation of young boys, in particular, away from healthy masculinity and into an insecure masculinity that requires the domination of others who are poorer, browner, darker, or a different gender than them. And that is why they are resonating online, because they are appealing to the most basest and worst parts of human nature to divide us.
And that right there is exactly why young men are bailing on the Democrat Party faster than Biden forgets a sentence. Because every time they turn around, there's another preachy, condescending activist like AOC yelling at them about how to be a real man. According to her, a real man is basically a doormat, soft, quiet, apologetic, and preferably nodding along while she explains how evil testosterone is. She looks at drive, competition, and ambition like they're contagious diseases. And if you like football, MMA, or anything that doesn't involve herbal tea and self-reflection, well, congratulations. You're a barbarian. In her twisted little world, the perfect man acts like a woman, and the perfect woman acts like a man. And if you have the nerve to say no thanks, you're immediately branded a sexist caveman, or homophobe, transphobe, fascist, racist, sexist, whatever their ist of the word, of the week is. And then when you just say that the cringe can't get any worse, the host drops one simple question, then asks if she's going to primary Chuck Schumer. And suddenly, AOC and Bernie both start malfunctioning, like someone just yanked the power cord out of their socialist simulation.
But are you saying that Senator Schumer should not be worried about a primary challenge from you?
I mean,
All right.
no.
Let me jump in on this one. This is what we're
talking about.
That's exactly what we're talking about.
This is what we're
You have a
talking about.
country that is falling apart. We had a housing crisis, a healthcare crisis, an education crisis, massive income and wealth inequality, a corrupt campaign finance system, and the media says, "Oh, you're going to run? What are you going to run for?" Nobody cares. She'll run more towards
Nobody cares.
It's the House Speaker and President Trump and the Vice President saying it.
Right.
Pardon?
Well, of course, they're saying it to deflect attention away from the real issues.
Exactly.
And here, let me tell you what the real issue is. Let's see if CNN talks about it. We're living in the richest country in the history of the world, right? All right, you tell me why we're the only nation not to guarantee health care to all people, the only nation not to guarantee paid family and medical leave, why we have a $7.25 an hour minimum wage, why we have 800,000 people sleeping out on the street, why we have a president who denies the reality of climate change, why we have oligarchs on top who have more and more power every day. Let's talk about that issue, not her own political future. She'll decide.
Of course, she will decide that. So what that translates into is, don't focus on the fact that we're tanking people's lives for political theater. Focus on the slogan, Trump bad, Trump evil, orange man ruin everything. Even if their fantasy numbers were true, that 20 million people that might be losing health care, which first of all, that 20 million people are illegal aliens and don't belong here in the first place. But the thing is that 300 million other Americans aren't getting their stuff through the federal government. The people who actually work, pay the taxes, and they're now watching their bills go up just so somebody else can ride the government train for free. Meanwhile, you have an air traffic controller trying to feed 4 kids. You have a woman who lost her house because of the government shutdown. But sure, let's cry about the 12 million people who don't belong here in the first place. See, normal people care about their families, their paychecks, their homes. Democrats care about pretending that they're saints in front of their brunch buddies. It's all about who can look the most compassionate on camera. And that's why They can look a struggling American in the eye and shrug and say, sorry, Trump bad. And then they just head off into the sunset like nothing ever happened. Well, that's all I got for you guys. If you found this entertaining or found some value in it, drop a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We'll catch you later. Bye.